What's up, Bike Rumor fans? I'm Tyler, and this is my first ride review of the all-new 2019 Marin Mount Vision. So what this bike did is took the prior model that was actually cut from the line in 2017, gave it a complete redesign with the NAILD R3act-2Play suspension platform that Marin first used on the Wolf Ridge. So the Wolf Ridge was sort of this general purpose bike to show off the suspension platform's capabilities. It had 29er wheels, but the geometry was sort of middle of the road, let's do everything. With this bike, they wanted to make one that was really all mountain and enduro specific. So it's 27 5-inch wheels because they wanted something a little more whippy, poppy, and playful. The suspension gets a couple of changes. So it still uses the R3act-2Play system, but it adds an upper link. And what that did is let them control the progression a little bit more to give it a little bit more of, not really a platform, but just something off that top end to let you like pop the suspension, make it easier to kind of like jump or wheelie or whatever you want to do out on the trail. The geometry is dialed really, really well for going downhill. It still climbs pretty well, but this bike is meant to go fast on the enduro stages. So a little bit about the suspension. The compression damping on this shock is as light as Fox will possibly make it for them. It's, for all intents and purposes, when you're riding it, it feels like there's almost no compression damping, and you don't need to fiddle with switches. It's designed not to ever have to fiddle with switches. So what that means when you're riding is, when you're climbing, there is no platform, so you'll feel the squishes of it moving over the trail obstacles, so over the roots, over the rocks. But when the pedaling forces are isolated, and that's kind of the whole point of the R3act-2Play system, is that whatever you're doing with the pedals should not affect the suspension, and it really doesn't. Unless you're just standing up and just chugging along, you're going to feel it go up and down like you would any bike. But when you sit there and watch it as you're pedaling up the hill seated climbing, there's very, very little movement here, except when you hit a bump, it soaks it right up. So it's honestly, man, like my impression was riding in a big cushy Cadillac going up the hill, except you had to work pretty hard to get up the hill. Once you point downhill, this thing just soaks it all up. So it's a little weird at first climbing on this bike, but the downhill is where it shines for sure. Travel is 150 mil front and rear, and the seat post is designed, first of all, it's designed to have really low standover. The seat post and seat tube is designed so that you could run maybe even up to a 200 mil dropper post. It comes stock with either 125 or 150 mil, and at 6'2", I rode the XL, and this is about what it looked like. I was hoping for more. There were a couple of times when I actually wanted more, so I would probably upgrade at some point to like a 170 mil dropper post and maybe make a few changes on some of the spec for personal preference like grips, but otherwise, out of the box, this bike is a lot of fun and worth checking out if you get a chance to demo it, just to see how different this suspension feels. For more photos, info, specs, and everything else, check out the full write-up and launch details at bikerumor.com. Thanks for watching.